Hello world, and we are back. My name's Kyle Fischl, and this is going to be episode 65 of my poker vlog. Today I'm going to talk about a session that occurred at Orange City Racing and Card Club, a 2-5 no limit session. Quick announcement, the next 1-3 meetup game will be Saturday, January 2nd, so if you're in the area, it's going to be a very fun table. We're going to start the year off right. So we're going to get right into some hands. First hand of note. With 3 limps to me, I'm in the small blind with 8-9 of spades. Even out of position, I'm comfortable playing suited connectors in a decent sized multi-way pot. So gonna raise. I raised to 20, all 3 limpers call. So we're going 4 ways to a flop of Jack 7-5 rainbow, 1 spade. This board is great because the double gut shot is actually a lot better than an open-ended straight draw because it's going to be super disguised if I hit one of my straight cards. So I put out a small continuation bet of $35, 2 players call. The goal is to continue betting on any overcard or spade that hits the turn. So depending on the run out, we can choose to continue betting or switch to a check call mode moving forward. Well, the turn is actually amazing. It's the 3 of spades. So we gain a backdoor flush draw. With our double gut shot both still being to the nuts, now we pick up a spade draw. There's really no reason to slow down here. So we're gonna bet again. So I bet $90 and both players call a second time. We're definitely going to need some help on this river card.
Lisa, Jim, and LP, 1 to no limit. Mark, Clancy, and Keith, 2 5 no limit.
3 players.
What an idiot. Did you know the worst thing they did? They've done a lot.
That's got to be the best card I've ever seen.
So it would seem.
I'm not sure what holdings my opponents will be able to call a third barrel with. The only hands that really come to mind are exactly 7-5 or 7-6, possibly of spades. So we can't really size up too much on this board, especially because the 4-liner might scare away a jack, which may make a crying call to a smaller sized bet. So we bet $235, hoping one of these opponents is strong enough to make the call.
No, the media. They're still doing the counting.
235.
Well, the under the gun player decides he's going to min click it back. Yes, that's right. He makes it 470.
Wow.
At that point, I honestly don't even know what he could have besides exactly 8-9 as well. So thinking I'm chopping a lot of the time, there's nothing else to do here but go all in with the nuts. So I only have about $120 behind if I chose to just call. So it makes his min raise even a smidge weirder, but either way, we're all in. And my opponent calls pretty quickly with pocket 7s. So we got a pretty favorable run out there. Double gut shot and a flush draw.
Yeah, I know. At first I thought it was fun.
Next interesting hand. There's 1 limp to me in middle position. I have ace-king offsuit. I raise to $20. A late position player calls, one of the blinds calls, and the limper calls as well. So we're going 4 ways to a flop of ace-king 3, 2 diamonds. Pretty slam dunk value bet spot. Diamond draws can call me as well as ace-x and king-x. So we're going to size up a bit, little over half pot to charge the diamond draws. We bet $50. A late position player calls and an early position recreational player calls as well. So we're going 3 ways to a turn card.
Well, short of anything that's going to hurt me.
Which is a 3 of diamonds. Pretty horrible, as almost any hand my opponents would have called the flop with got there. Diamond draws get there, and if for some reason you called with some kind of 3, that got there as well. So when it checks to me, it's a pretty easy check back. The late position player checks as well, and we're going 3 ways to a river card, which is a 3 of spades. So now when the early position rec player checks to me, I have to think of a sizing that might get paid by literally just a king and only a king. So I go for a very, very small bet, only $50. I don't really expect a flush to pay me off here too often, but we have a very strong full house. We have to go for something. The late position player folds and the early position player calls with ace queen. So the run out kind of bailed him out there a little bit, but we'll take a chop.
You're goddamn right.
Next hand of note. There is one limp to an early position player who raises to $15. I'm in middle position with 4-5 of clubs. I make the call before the button chooses to raise to 50. The limper calls, the pre-flop aggressor calls, and I'm definitely priced in to go 4 ways with a suited connector because we see how good those actually play. Well, the flop is 6-4 deuce 2 hearts. I'm actually planning a check raise on this board. When it checks to me, I choose to check to the button. This board heavily favors a calling range over a 3-betting range. And the fact that I actually have a pair and a gut shot, this is a spot where a 3-better might c-bet ace, king, ace, queen, something like that, and I can just check raise, get a whole lot of value, and put him in a pretty tough position on this street and even later streets. However, the pre-flop 3-better bets 160, and it folds back to me. Very large sizing for this player, especially as this board shouldn't connect to him at all, really. Sizing doesn't really give me the option of check raising because I'm not really going to raise to 400 or 500. So we're just going to call and expect him to slow down on many turn cards.
Heads up.
When the turn is the queen of clubs, that's actually an excellent card. I don't expect my opponent to bet again ever because it's very board dynamic changing. What I mean by that, if my opponent was like protecting with like pocket 8s, 9s, or 10s, then this overcard should slow him down a lot of the time. If he had like ace king or ace queen, he should slow down as well. The ace king has been called once and could be against a queen x of hearts anyway, so he shouldn't really bet too much here. And additionally, if you had ace queen, because you gained some showdown value, you probably shouldn't bet here as well. So this is a card I expect to get checked through a lot. But my opponent announces 485. Another huge bet. Like, it's just 100% a bluff. There's no way he has a hand for value that he nearly pots twice. Like, he really wouldn't ever deal with a set, and if he, like the hands I said, he should be slowing down. The hands that might push this action that I think is possible are maybe ace 6 of hearts or ace x of hearts, where you don't have a hand yet, but you definitely have a very strong draw. Not doing great against ace anything of hearts, so with no evidence of my opponent slowing down, I think this is a fold, because if I call and let's say the river is a 10 of clubs and he just jams on me, I'm forced to fold anyway. So even though I'm fairly certain this is a bluff, I choose to let this one go. And my opponent shows 5-7 of hearts. So I suppose he was balancing his 3-betting range with this specific holding and happened to get a flop that just connected to it very well and bet. But interesting to see how wide some people are willing to 3-bet. Next hand of note. With one limp to me, I limp with 4-3 of spades before the big blind raises to $30. Very willing to play suited connectors, I call. Unfortunately, the other limper folds, so I'm actually heads up to the flop, which is ace jack 4 2 spades. Really a great flop for my hand. My opponent checks to me. Now he is the big blind and he did raise pre-flop and it did come ace high. I don't expect him to ever check a pair of aces here when he's going to play the rest of the hand out of position. And there's a flush draw to protect against. So I'm thinking I could have the best hand here, as well as the fact that I have plenty of barreling opportunities if I hit a straight card or make my flush. So I bet $35. My opponent calls very quickly and we're off to a turn card. Turn is the 5 of diamonds. Gotta love when these suited connectors always hit their backdoor card. We're gonna bet again, hopefully get a fold, but if not, we have plenty of outs to make a straight or a flush. We bet $80. My opponent calls again. I'm not very happy about that. And the river is the 10 of clubs. When my opponent checks to me a third time, this is a really interesting spot. Do I turn my pair of fours into a bluff, or do I give up? I say give up because I never expect to check and win with a pair of fours. I don't think it has enough showdown value ever, but should we be bluffing at this? I think for a bit of time, I decided that this isn't a board where I can really credibly rep anything that bet 3 streets. I suppose the only hand that I could rep is King Queen of Spades exactly. Additionally, what hands am I trying to get my opponent to fold here? I don't think he ever has just a single pair of aces, and even if he did, if he chose to check the flop with a pair of aces, he probably planned on check calling all the way down. However, he could also have ace 10 and river 2 pair and easily call. That's kind of my same thought process with the jack. If he had king jack or queen jack, the fact that he would block the actual straight makes me think he would just call a third barrel unless I made it huge. And he could even have jack 10. So I don't expect any medium pocket pair to have made it this far. I don't really expect my opponent to fold if he flopped top or second pair with this exact run out. So I check it back, and I'm grateful that I did because my opponent had pocket aces. So glad I didn't put out that third barrel. Right now, I'd really appreciate if you pause the video and hit the subscribe button. Thank you. Final hand of note. So it had been a few hours since the last hand, and the table's been playing very, very big. Like, it was not uncommon for this table to go 2-5, open to 50, get 3 or 4 callers. Like, it was crazy. But I haven't seen a hand in such a long time. I just wanted to get in there. So with a button trail to $10, there's 2 limps to me, and I look down at queen 10 offsuit. After several hours of no playable hands, this looks great. So I raised to $60. The button and the 2 limpers all call. So we go 4 ways to a flop of queen 10, 3, 2 hearts. It's a special type of person who play poor hands and then get absolutely rewarded by the dealer with that board. Donkey! So the fact that there's 2 hearts out there, and there's 3 callers, and this table's been playing super loose, I'm just gonna bet. I'm gonna bet pretty big because I can get ace queen to call, ace 10 maybe, king jack, ace king. All kinds of hands can just call 1 or multiple streets, as well as the fact I need to protect against the heart draw, which any player can have. So I bet $160. The button calls, and early position limper jams all in. Well, I didn't flop top 2 pair just to fold here. I block top and middle set, and if he has pocket 3s, you know, good for him. So I call, and the button actually thinks for a while before folding 9, 10 of hearts. So he had a pretty strong hand to let go there. And then my early position opponent who jammed, you know, says that I took all his outs because he has jack 8 of hearts. And we're here for a run out.
Threes?
I need your out. You got my card.
Well, that helps. Please don't give him a heart.
You know what I mean? You have my 2 my out.
I know that the heart's no good.
Yeah.
And I don't think my 10 is any good.
Yeah.
He would have to beat if you had.
Those are the significant hands from my last section of playing. I am there for 8 hours, into the game for $800, out of the game for $2,043, which is a profit of $1,243. I'm there for 8 hours, so it's a profit of $155 an hour or 31 big blinds an hour. If you watched all the way to this point, thank you. I appreciate it, and there will be more to come next week.